Hello and welcome to In the North Live, brought to you by Basketball Queensland. I'm Brianna Goodchild and I'm here to chat basketball with you. That's right, we're talking NBL, WNBL, NBL 1 North, and yeah, just basketball in general. So thanks for joining in. Let me get to adding the man I always add. It is none other than John Guana. And tonight we've got a very exciting podcast coming your way. So chatting to a few stars. John, how are you?
I'm good, Brianna. You know what it is. It's the favorite time of the week, favorite evening, Tuesday.
Woo!
I got Brianna with me. We got lots of people tuning in, and we got some awesome guests. I'm looking forward to it.
We certainly do. But John, you have been doing what we call like almost a basketball all-nighter. Cairns Titans last night, taking on the Breakers, and it was a nail-biter, wasn't it?
Well, for a half of it, it definitely was. The first half, you would have thought that Cairns was done. New Zealand really took it to them and had a really commanding lead. I asked Coach Adam Ford at halftime, what do you do and how do you come back from it? And he said, at this point, no coaching. There's nothing that's going to get us out of it. We just got to work on what we've been working on and try and get there. And lo and behold, the team responded really well to the message at halftime. They came back and they literally took it down right to the last possession of the game. They had an opportunity to win it and sneak one home. But unfortunately for Cairns, it wasn't there. And New Zealand did enough in the first half and really hung on just enough in the second half, executed in some key moments, and they got a big win. Both teams really needed that win. Puts New Zealand a little bit closer to that top four. Still a fair ways out, but it was a great game. The atmosphere was really good. I mean, the crowd there wasn't that many people there, but it was loud as I've heard it since I've been going up to Cairns. So, yeah, it was an awesome game to be a part of.
Oh, that's so exciting. So look, I'm adding in our guest tonight. The first one, Mitch Norton, who, is part of the NBL as well and is going to have plenty to talk to us about. And I'm also going to add in Lara as well from the Fire.
Mitch, what's happening?
Hey, how you doing?
Mitch, where are you at the moment? Tell us where you're tuning in from.
So we are based in Melbourne at the moment. We were currently in Hobart for a while, but due to training facilities and things like that, it made it difficult for us to get on the floor. So we made the move to Melbourne.
I'm sure
Awesome.
you don't with the coffee options in Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm loving it at the moment. Actually got a special delivery from Margaret River Roasting, so have to give them a plug.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good.
Hey,
And Lara, great to see you.
Mitch, can you
Hey
plug
guys,
them
how are we?
send some up to Brisbane for us too, please? And maybe up to Townsville for Laura as well.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
Hook us up.
Appreciated.
Well, thanks so much for joining us on the pod tonight, guys. It's been, an awesome season so far. We're really in the thick of it for both leagues. Now, can we talk through a little bit about what's just happened? For you, Mitch, we've just come out of round 11 and you had a massive game, 21 points, but went down. What happened?
Yeah, it was a tough one. Obviously going up against Melbourne United. They've recruited really well in the off-season. And, obviously a bit of history between the two clubs, with both winning and losing a grand final series against each other, only a matter of years apart. So it was a really good contest. Obviously, we come up a little bit short. We finally got off to a good start, which has been hard to come by this year. But unfortunately, didn't come away with the win. Just a little bit too kind of inconsistent with our play, which has kind of been a little bit of a trend this season. So looking to make the adjustments and come out better next week.
Love to hear it. And it's always exciting, that battle between the top. 1 and 2 so far. Do you think you can pip him and get into that final series and take out another championship?
That's always the goal. There's a long way to go, however. We got a couple of games left on the road, and then we're heading home finally for a pretty healthy homestand, which I know everyone can't wait for. Back in Perth, it's been a long time since we've seen the Red Army, and I know they're chomping at the bit to see us.
They'll definitely be. John was just talking about how exciting it was, the atmosphere in Cairns, but we all know the Red Army really goes off.
Yeah, to have 13,000 there, all wearing red, and going absolutely crazy. They really are the best sixth man in the league. And yeah, there's no doubt that we're missing him at the moment.
So good.
Hey, Lara,
And
you guys had a couple of games on this last round as well. 2 times playing Sydney. What's it like to play the same team back to back over a round?
Yeah, so in a way it's tough because you have to face the same opponent, and depending on how you went the game before, it could be good or bad, but we learned a lot from our first game, and we were able to make the adjustments throughout the week at training and take that into the second game, and we played even better the second time. So yeah, it was good result for us anyway.
And the second game was at home. We talked to Mitch just now about playing in front of the home crowd, but how much of a difference does it make for you and the team playing in front of fans?
Oh, I mean, playing at home is just huge. Like Mitch said, they're basically your sixth man. Like, they're always talking at the other team. Yeah, like being super loud. They ride the waves with us and get behind us like the whole game. Yeah, so they're really important.
Now,
yeah,
the question I want to ask both of you, because you both have experienced it. This is Basketball Queensland. Lara, you played for Rockhampton. Mitch, I know you played in. So what's louder? Is it in Rocky or is it Townsville and Perth? I mean, Rocky's got to be up there with the rest.
Rocky, yeah. I mean, especially the ladies on the baseline, on that baseline, they can really get up and into the opponents. But yeah, the Orange Army, they have a real crack. I have to give them that. Yeah, it's probably pretty equal. Yeah.
How you, Mitch?
Yeah, I think Rockhampton's definitely an interesting place to play. When you're sitting on the bench and the supporters have their feet in the middle of your back.
I love that.
It is definitely the Red Army.
Yeah, 13,000 is a good number to get a loud voice. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, we've got a few people yelling out in the chat as well. A few people are saying, bring back the Crocs. I believe you played for the Crocs back in the day, Mitch.
Yeah, I did. It's where I started my career, playing at the Swamp, which is the same venue the Fire are using, which is pretty cool to see it's still getting a run. But yeah, 5 years there, and then off to Illawarra for 2, and then the rest has been in Perth.
Amazing. And look, Lara, you're getting a bit of a shout out too from a lot of the Townsville girls. And I think I saw in your Instagram story you actually deadlifting Carla.
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, we were just mucking around. Like, we're always trying to, lighten the mood in, at training and in the weight room. And we were just chatting, and, that trend on TikTok where the couples will do like the deadlift and like the push up, and Carl was like, oh yeah, you could probably deadlift me, and I was like, all right, let's have a go. So
there you go, Valentine's themed. Yeah. Happy Valentine's everyone for yesterday.
Mitch, who are you deadlifting in the Wildcats group?
I'd probably have to say Bryce Cotton. I think he weighs about 40 kilos, so it might be the easiest one to do.
I'm sure he would have.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to have a crack at Majuk, that's for sure.
Oh, yes. He might give you a run for your money. But look, Steph Reed's also jumping in. She's going, who carries you in Fortnite? Lara McSpadden.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look, I'm only recently on the old night of the fort. So, yeah, she definitely does most of the carrying when we get on as a squad. It's usually me, Woody, Zatina, and Steph. And I end up being revived a lot of the time, but that's okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
For sure.
Any games for you, Mitch? What about Perth Wildcats? Do you get around a bit of it?
Yeah, there's a lot of us either have some type of gaming device. So I think the biggest surprise to me was Jesse Wagstaff. He's all over Call of Duty. For a dad, has 3 kids, doesn't get too much time at home. So when he's on the road, he makes the most of it.
Nice.
That's great.
Is that your game, Mitch? Call of Duty, or what's your go-to?
I'd probably have to say Call of Duty, but I'm not very good. So I'm sure I'd be getting revived a fair bit if I played Fortnite as well.
Yeah. we've spoken to a few players, and it seems like it's either Call of Duty or Fortnite. So I'll put the question out to both of you. And Lara, you may have hinted at it already. Who's in your squad for Fortnite, Lara? If you're going for a dub, who's your number one pick, and who's filling out the other two spots?
Someone's gonna get hurt here. Oh no.
We're putting you in the tough questions. This is where we ask the tough questions.
That's right.
Look, Zatina is at a higher level than Steph and has been playing it a longer time, so I'd probably have to say her. Yeah.
All right. And what about the rest of the spot? Steph has a spot. Who's the fourth?
Courtney Woods for sure. She's great from long range. Loves a little sniper action. She does. So yeah.
All right. And Mitch, we can go Call of Duty or we could go Fortnite. I know it's a bit different, but we'll go Call of Duty for you. Who's your number one pick to team up with, and then who are you filling the squad out with in the Wildcats group?
Yeah, it's an easy pick. Todd Blanchfield for me. He's a massive gamer. He's all about it, and I room with him when we go on the road. So for me to get a game day nap is quite difficult because I hear him yelling. But he is very good. I'd have to put Majuk in there, Vic Law, Jack Purchase, and then Jesse Wagstaff. So got a pretty good little squad.
So you're coming off
good basketball team, good Fortnite and COD teams. What more do you want?
Definitely helps kill time.
Totally. And talk us a little bit, based on this, that's obviously good team culture when you're not playing basketball, but how does that sort of team culture translate into the games? Mitch, if you want to start off.
Yeah, I think it's good. Anytime, especially for us, we're away from our family at the moment. So to have each other kind of, next door and get that camaraderie off the court definitely translates, and it makes just communication and everything on the floor just a little bit more crisper, which is something that's kind of sped up the learning process for us, having a new system, a new coach, and everything involved. So, it's been really handy.
That's so good. And for you, Lara?
Yeah, I mean, kind of riding off what Mitch said, like being able to spend that time off court, develops that other element of your relationship with your teammates. So being able to, be close off court just enhances your trust in them on court. So yeah, being able to get on and have fun, on these games and play with your teammates is, it just translates, obviously not quite as relevantly, but it definitely helps.
Yeah. Just the morale, getting to know each other. I suppose that helps both off the court, on the court, and then you just vibing with one another. And kind of on that note, we had one of our top fans, shout out Ellie Keelis, 14. She's asking the question to both of you, what's it like playing under your coaches? And I think, Mitch, you mentioned you've got a new coach. So can you tell us a little bit about playing with Scott?
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. Obviously, new to the country, new to the league. I think he's kind of picked it up on the fly extremely well. So coming just with all that NBA experience is something that I've really enjoyed learning. His stories are unbelievable. Not too many I can probably repeat, but it's really cool to have that kind of vibe and obviously learn from him as much as I can. I don't think it doesn't matter what stage of your career you're at, everyone's still willing to learn. And I think it kind of shows we've got a long way to go to get where we need to be. But it's going to be a fun process.
That's so good to hear. And for you, Lara, under Shannon Seaborn?
Yeah, I mean, I love Shannon, I love playing for him, and basically everyone who's at the Fire is playing because we love playing for Shannon. He's such a great coach, sets high expectations for us, and just really pushes us to be better and is invested in our development and our own personal goals. So it's really good. We love him.
Good on you, Shannon.
Yeah, I wanted to ask both. Obviously, it's a basketball show. We're talking about hoops. Can you give us a little insight into how you got started playing basketball? I'll start with you, Lara.
So how did I start? Oh my goodness. Okay. I basically done like every sport under the sun. I was like one of those kids, and then my dad was like, "Oh, do you want to try like basketball?" Because my parents both played when they were younger. And that was when I was 12. Yeah. And I just started for fun and then kind of went from there. Yeah.
Did you love it right away, or was it something that you had to learn to love?
Um, I feel like it was one of those ones where I kind of had to learn to love. I'd played netball, but like it's obviously like different with the physical contact and that sort of stuff. So getting to like know that sort of the game was yeah, a love part of basketball. Yeah.
And how about you, Mitch? Obviously, Townsville boy. Townsville, basketball hasn't always been as popular in North Queensland. How'd you end up on the hard court?
So I guess growing up, all I wanted to do was play soccer. So I went
Oh,
to my first soccer tryout. The coach jumped out of the car, rolled some soccer balls out, jumped back in his car and drove away. And a lady came over and was like, "Oh, that was your coach, but he's left. So we don't have a coach this year, so we're not going to have a team." So I was like, "Oh, okay, this isn't very fun."
Oh.
And a mate from school said, "Hey, why don't you come try basketball? My dad's a coach." I was
wow.
like, "Sure, I'll go along, try it." Had fun, like met a lot of friends. My first year, I think I fouled out of every single game. So mum and dad were like, "Oh, maybe rugby league's a better sport for Mitch." But yeah, from there, I just loved the game. Probably more so just the friendships I made. It made everything kind of enjoyable.
Are you
Wow.
into soccer still? I'm curious about this because I find a lot of people, I know here in Australia, a lot of people go from playing AFL to basketball or vice versa, but I think a lot of people also play soccer. And I know it sounds silly to say this, but I really think there's a lot of similarities between the game. Obviously, the big difference being you can't use your feet in basketball and you can't use your hands in soccer, but the movement off the ball and on the ball and the teamwork, I think, is very similar.
Yeah, no, soccer was dead to me from that day on. So it was basketball and rugby league from then on out.
Oh man, I was gonna get a whole story. I thought you were gonna back me up there, Mitch. I swung and I missed, but I'm okay with it. That's all right.
My bad.
But I tell you what, that is a fortuitous story if I've ever heard one. It seems like you were destined to play ball because literally it took a coach throwing his soccer balls out of the car and just miraculously disappearing for you to get into it. But there you go. And look, on the physical contact thing too, I just want to say I've rejoined a social basketball team for the first time in 7 years, freaking loving it. But my knees have never been so bruised. Like I do skating, do this, one game of basketball, nose injury, knees bashed, but like loving every second. So good on there, everyone getting out there, getting into basketball. It's physical. That's part of the reason why it's so fun.
Yeah, I think people forget how physical basketball is. I love a physical game of basketball, and I like it when I'm sure you guys will agree. I'll ask the question: do you prefer the referees to let it be physical, or you want them calling the action?
Mm.
Hmm. As long as it's fair, both ways.
Mitch?
Yeah, I'll
Mitch
agree.
is quiet.
I'll agree with that.
Agree with that one.
Let us know how it's going to be called, and we'll go with it. Hey, is that what we're saying?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
that's it.
That's great. So, look, both of you have also played for the FIBA teams growing up as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience and what's it like to play for Australia? Lara, maybe you go first.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. So I played it with Miller. Yeah, in the 2016 under 17 World Championships where we won gold, which
Gold.
was like honestly one of the best experiences. We were the first Australian junior team to win a gold at a World Championship, so that was unreal, and that was like our whole team's first taste of like international basketball.
History in the
So
making. Mm.
yeah, it was really good. We definitely kind of put like women's basketball in Australia like on the map that year. A lot of that group we've like gone on to play in like college and the WNBL, and I mean Ezzy is in Seattle in the WNBA, which is amazing. yeah, but I mean, yeah, it was awesome to go from playing nationals to being selected in a national team to then winning an international tournament is it's mind blowing. Yeah.
Is it one of those highlights you always think back to?
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes I'm like, oh, is it ever going to be that good again? But yeah, I'm sure it will be in some like instance. But yeah, it was just at that moment in time, it was amazing.
Yeah, I just remember so much excitement about that time. So it's good. It's so special to have those moments. And I think that's what, representing your country gives you. I mean, shout out to the Opal
Yeah.
squad. Just they came to Serbia, but they've done such an amazing job. And we'll get them on home soil end of the year. FIBA World Cup here in Sydney. Let's get them, team. Proud of you all.
Yeah.
And what about for you, Mitch, playing for Australia?
Yeah, the first time I got to represent Australia was at the under-17 Oceania qualifiers, I guess. And it was actually played in Brisbane. So to play for Australia and have my family sitting in the stands was a pretty cool moment. When you link arms and the national anthem is playing, it's something that,
Any single tears rolling down?
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it. But I mean, I've been very lucky to go to a 17s World Championships, and then play a couple of times with the Boomers as well. So it's an amazing feeling, and it's something that no one takes for granted at all. Anytime you pull that jersey on, it's a very special moment.
I can only imagine.
It's something that I would imagine a lot of people dream of. So to have the experience must be something that you get to hold on to forever, which is amazing. I want to change it though. We're going to talk about playing for Australia, but we're Basketball Queensland here. We're talking NBL 1 North. I know, Lara, you've re-signed for Rockhampton. What was it about the experience in Rocky that made you want to come back for a second go?
I guess last year I was really given the opportunity to kind of just like explore with like my game. I was the main player in my team, so I really had to be like a dominant force on like offense and defense, which I haven't really had before in another team. So to get that opportunity to do that was really good for my game in terms of my development. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to coming back and having some more good players and working with a really good coach. So yeah, that's going to be really good.
I feel like you have some unfinished business as well. I mean, you got to get some wins on the board, a few W's there. But it was so good watching you play. And I remember John and I would do our players of the week each week in the pod, and we'd be like, Lara again with a double-double. So good work getting on both ends of the floor and really producing for your team. But yeah, we've actually had someone in the chat ask Mitch who your favourite Townsville player is. And maybe off the back of that, are you going to come to NBL 1 North? I mean, it's hot up here. It's a good league.
It is very hot. There's been some massive signings up there lately. So, I think favourite Heat player would have to be I don't think my brother would let me live it down if I didn't give him a little plug. So I'd have to say Max Norton for sure.
Woo!
Oh, Max.
Go Max.
Are there any opportunities, though, for you, Mitch? I mean, obviously, you guys are mid-season and you have a lot of basketball still to play with the Wildcats. But any thoughts on what the offseason might look like for you?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I have kind of been pretty banged up the last couple of years, dealing with injuries and things like that. So the off-season has kind of been used to get my body right and go again. So never say never, but I think it'd be pretty cool to pull on a Heat jersey at least one more time.
Ooh, okay. We've had a few breaking announcements come through. Who knows? Maybe this will be it. Maybe we'll see you sign with the Heat.
You have to give us that scoop, Mitch. If it's going to happen, we need to know first, okay? So tell us now, but we'll pause on the announcement for the future. Mitch, you guys have a game on Saturday at Sydney. Sydney had that crazy win over Brisbane. What do you guys got to do in that game to get back on the winning track?
Yeah, I think it's all at the defensive end for us. So yeah, I guess kind of being in a world we want to live in, we want to keep them kind of around that 80 mark. Offensively, kind of hasn't really been an issue for us this year. We've been able to find points kind of all across the board. So for us, it's trying to keep the imports quiet. They had a big signing with Ian Clark and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets a bit of burn this week. We're expecting he will. So to deal with him, Jalen Adams and everyone as well is quite a handful, but it's something that we're looking forward to. And obviously defense is going to be a key for us.
Something never change in Perth, no matter who's at the helm, right?
Exactly right.
Hey, you guys have another doubleheader. You got Bendigo at home on the 17th, and then you're at the Capitals on the 19th. So a lot of basketball to be played. What are you looking forward to in that Bendigo game?
I think the thing that we're all looking forward to most is just trying to keep Annalie Maley under lock. Really, we don't want her to get hot. We want to stop her rebounding. She's a really big key to their success. So, yeah. But I mean, obviously they have like Maddie Garrick and Tessa Levy and Meg and Mary, and yeah, so they have a few good players. But yeah, it's going to be down to, I think, desire and effort for us. Who wants to crash the boards more? Do the 1%ers? Yeah, that sort of thing.
Well, I like that. Desire and effort. That's exciting. Ooh, juicy. And look, you touched on it before, Mitch, about injuries, and that was something I wanted to circle back to, actually, because I think that's such a prevalent thing in sports like basketball, where it's physical, it's tiring, it's hard work. And unfortunately, we've seen in the WNBL, Abby Bishop has had her season shortened because of injury, and that's obviously been so incredibly upsetting. So we feel for you, Abby. Thank you for all the great work you have done. But can we talk a little bit about, for players maybe experiencing themselves, how we deal with injury and, any tips or advice you might have been given or have on how to get through those tough periods? Mitch, maybe if you wanted to start.
Yeah, it's a very tough time, considering, you don't really know what the injury could be. So sometimes it does limit, what you can do outside of basketball. So whether it's going to the shops to get groceries or anything like that, sometimes it does affect things just bigger than basketball. So it's really important to have a good network around you. We're lucky here at the Wildcats. We've probably got the best support staff, in the league. So to trust those guys and understand that, they're doing everything in their powers to get you back out on the floor and at 100%. So mentally, it is draining at times, especially if you have an injury and you go through it again. It is challenging, but yeah, like I said, having that network around you can really help you get through those tough times.
That's great. Network. And Lara, anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I would just say like the same sort of thing. I mean, we've got there's always going to be girls in your team who have like lingering like little niggly injuries. Just like communicating openly with each other, knowing what we can do for them, and then obviously with the staff is really important, because at the end of the day we're playing on the same team and we need to be in the best shape that we can to succeed in the long run. So we need to do whatever we can do for ourselves and for everyone else to put us in the best position for that.
Yeah. Well, look, it sounds to me like team culture is going strong. I'm hearing a lot of positive things, a lot of good support networks, a lot of good culture, even in the game rooms too. So that's always good to hear.
Yeah, and I also hear the same thing. I think it's really interesting to see where, we talk always about the teamwork on the court, but it's as much as important off the court as it is on the court. So I think you guys have really driven that point home tonight, and really appreciate the insights. We've kept you guys for quite a while. I know it's, probably late, and you guys have heaps of training ahead of you. So I just wanted to take the time to thank both of you for joining us tonight. It's been awesome to watch you guys this season. We're looking forward to seeing you play on the weekend. All the best for your games this weekend and in the future. And Lara, we can't wait to see you in NBL 1 North. And Mitch, you're always welcome home in Queensland. You know that, buddy. So you come home.
There was a lot of shout-outs for another Townsville appearance.
Love it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Feel free to leave the chat and we'll keep going, but really appreciate it, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Right, bye.
Cheers.
And thanks everyone who's been watching. I mean, look, we'll finish off by talking about a little bit of NBL 1 North, as we do, as we love. Have you had an eye on any signings, John, or do you want me to take the lead here?
To be fair, the big one that I saw during the week was Matty Rochi going back to the University of Sunshine Coast, Rip City. I'm a big fan. I can't. We have to get her on the podcast one of these days. But
we do
get her back.
We do. When she's back, getting her on the pod.
I think that was an awesome signing. That was the big one that I saw. I can't remember if we talked about it last week, though. I also saw Tyrell Harrison going back to Southern Districts. So the big guy staying in Brisbane in the offseason. He's had a great year for the Bullets. I'm looking forward to seeing him just down the road from me here in Carina.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's getting really close to, I mean, the season kicks off end of April. So we are definitely trudging towards there. You know, we're getting closer and closer. Other ones I saw are resident, what do you call it, dumbbell, Carla Drennan. She signed back with Logan. So that was Lara McSpadden was lifting her.
You broke that a couple weeks ago on the In the North podcast. Don't you remember that, Brianna? Come on.
True, but they've officially put the post up. So I'm restating this fact. I mean, yeah, we get things early. We're special. That's let's put money on that Mitch is coming back up here. Come on, Mitch. Come on up. You know you love it. The sun's out. And then another actually interesting one was Southern District Spartans. They had Lauren Hippolyte. Excuse me if I didn't pronounce that right, but she's from Sky Sport Tall Ferns and is coming over to play with us. She's currently with the Melbourne Boomers as a development player. So that's another exciting addition as well to that Spartan side. But, man, bit of a loss losing Rochi.
Yeah. I'm sure Spartans will regroup and they'll be strong again. Carla joining Logan, she was a really big part. The development that she's had over the last couple of years, now coming off of the season up in Townsville, I think, she's going to have a big season in NBL 1 as well as Logan looks to defend their championship. Yeah,
it's going to be a good one. Well, that's us finishing up for tonight. We'll have more exciting basketball next week. Plenty more players to come. Anyone you want to see on the pod, just let us know. Likewise, if you've got any questions you want answered, that's awesome stuff. Just keep popping them in the chat. John, it's been another great Tuesday.
It's always great. I do have to apologize to everyone in the chat because mine froze up again. I lost the chat about 25 minutes. Saw lots of stuff coming in. So apologies for that, but really appreciate everyone tuning in. We love the interactions. We love the questions. If you have them, send them to us ahead of time, to myself, Brianna, or to Basketball Queensland. Let us know who you want to try and get on the show. The teams and the players have been really great with us, really happy and keen. And so if there's people in particular you'd like us to talk to, let us know, and we'll get them and we'll do our best to get them at least.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you next week. Have a good week. Enjoy all the basketball.
See you. Bye.
See ya. See you, John.